Wow! Incredible!
What can be said about Super Smash Bros. That hasn't been said a million times before? It's one of the biggest crossover fighters of all time that houses some of gaming's biggest icons. Starting with the first game, it was merely a Nintendo All-Star fighter, but as the series went on, more and more niche and unique fighters entered the scene, which gave these characters a spotlight that they've never seen before. Without the inclusion of Marth & Roy in Melee, Fire Emblem wouldn't be as mainstream as it is now, and without the inclusion of Pin and Brawl, Kid Icarus as a franchise would have remained in obscurity. It's not even just the inclusions that makes it special. The way the characters are represented, from the movesets to the renders, makes it all the more interesting to see how the franchise has evolved. But there's one character that I think has the strangest but most interesting representation in this franchise, and this character's name is Mr. Game & Watch. In concept, Mr. Game & Watch's representation in Smash is a showcase in Nintendo's early days, back when they were barely considered a game company. They made playing cards for fuck's sake, and that was with the introduction to the Game & Watch, a handheld device that plays a small arcade-like minigame. Mr. Game & Watch's moveset helped reflect that history greatly, with his moves being taken directly from the Game & Watch games themselves. But I feel like his transition to Smash Bros. Was a little more than just being a retro character. With his introduction in Smash Bros. Melee, Mr. Game & Watch has this sense of mystery and menace in his character. It sounds strange given that he's merely just a two-dimensional silhouette, but I feel like that mystery and menace is made more apparent in the music. I feel like the songs in Melee and the rest of the games capture the emotions represented in the original franchises pretty well. For example, with Mario, it's more cheery and happy, since it's a franchise with a bright atmosphere, while with Star Fox, it's more adventurous and serious, since the franchise has a somewhat gritty but adventurous atmosphere. But with the Game & Watch series, it's a bit of a different story. In the stage Flat Zone, there's only one song that plays there, called Flat Zone. I feel like that song represents the character more than a franchise. The song itself has this mysterious feeling to it, much like how bizarre Mr. Game & Watch's inclusion is. Maybe he's feeling confused as to where he is. He is in a brand new universe with tons of worlds that are all different to his home world, but all he knows is that he's gonna make a lot of enemies, and has no choice but to defeat them all. Mr. Game & Watch was not just a new fighter in Melee, he was an intruder. And I think the victory theme suits that feeling best. Now for Ball onwards, Mr. Game & Watch gets a totally different feeling. That's only because Mr. Game & Watch grew from his past experiences in Melee. He went from a mysterious and creepy entity to a playful and cheery throwback character, and that's also considering the fact that his movesets stay the same. Well, except for his UT special actually being useful this time, but that's beside the point. The music, again, reflects that current feeling of Mr. Game & Watch with the track Flat Zone 2 from the stage Flat Zone 2. Compared to the Flat Zone track in Melee, Flat Zone 2 has a more upbeat tone to it. To me, that shows that Mr. Game & Watch has found joy and purpose in what was once a strange new universe to him. He has decided that instead of seeing the other characters as a threat, he sees them as friends and is excited for all the new people that arrive in the franchise. I think this epiphany of his began in the Subspace Emissary with this cutscene. This was his first sense of joy right here. These emotions are, again, best reflected in his victory theme. Out of all the characters in Smash Bros, Mr. Game & Watch is one of those strange cases that stands out from the rest, which makes him a lot more interesting. He has his evolution in this character that is not really seen in most fighters, while keeping his core gameplay and concept the same. And that was all thanks to the soundtrack that is arranged and composed to represent him. To be honest, without that, he would just be a throwback character and nothing else. The same can be said with all of the characters really. Without their unique traits that made him stand out, it leaves out what makes these characters special in the first place. And that's what makes the representation of not only Mr. Game & Watch, but the entire roster special.